Good morning, Baz. How's it going?
Very well. Morning, Alex. How are you?
Very good, sir. Very good indeed.
Good,
what
good.
do we have this week, sir?
We've got The White Tiger, which is a Netflix production, which I think we both watched it on. Came out this year, January, and essentially it kind of focuses in on, probably going to butcher his name, but Adarsh Gourav, which is Balram in the film.
The character is Balram, yeah?
Yeah, he's the main character in the film. You see his life from a young age growing upwards, and he essentially is a servant to his master, which he's called Al-Rush in the film, I think his name is it? Al-Shuk.
Yeah,
Al-Shuk in the film.
Al-Shuk,
and the film's based in India, and you see a storyline of this young man growing up and essentially realising who he is and more so what system is indoctrinated in, which is a system of slavery, really. I think we would agree.
You can. Well, you can call it modern slavery. So
I would say so. Yeah, modern slavery.
In today's, it's 21st century India. It's not in the
Yes.
old days. It's actually very
2010,
modern
I think.
film.
2010, isn't it? Yeah, is when
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
based.
So it's not,
yeah.
And it just goes. It shows the caste system in India. That's what I like, because he's from a very poor family, and all he wants, his only goal, is to be the driver of the boss of the village. So
Yes.
there's this master of the village that just collects rent from everybody regularly, and he just wants to become a driver, and that's his goal in life. That's how it all starts.
Yeah.
And it slowly shows that journey. And it slowly unfolds into him trying to break away from the caste system with the sacrifices that involves.
Yeah, and Balram in the film as well. He doesn't even know. Just to give you an example, he doesn't even know what the internet is. He doesn't know what a computer is.
Yeah,
he
it's a
doesn't
good
know what a
scene,
cell phone is. So he's joining this rich family just to be their driver, and he is so inexperienced and not knowledgeable on the world, and it's a great offset to kind of give you an example of maybe like a poorer Indian or a servant type Indian. So he's starting from level zero, and that's why the film is intriguing right from the get-go, because he doesn't know anything, and
it's fascinating because you can see the drive in him, even though his goal in life is such a simple goal to become, but he wants to succeed to a point when he becomes cutthroat and ruthless to the other driver. Remember that he undermines to get his job, and he's indoctrinated, or he has grown up with the to serve, to be the best and the most willing and the most obedient servant ever as a driver, and he just shows that perfectly. The actor is spectacular. I thought it was really really
This chap we're going to see him in other films, I think, because the gentleman that plays Balram he's fantastic. He's completely steals the show, but to be honest, the whole cast played their parts really well. But I think this is an excellent film, Alex. I really do think it is, and it gives insights of Indian culture, which I found a lot more interesting to watch. Then I think we were comparing it to Slumdog Millionaire. Now,
that's what reminded me.
Yeah, which is also a good film. But if you compare the two, I think this one gives a lot more of a reality check on what it is actually like to be coming from the slums in India to work for a rich family, which is a lot darker, a lot more kind of sinister, I would say, even though Slumdog Millionaire did have its moments. But I think, it's that kind of brainwashing of the poverty-stricken people to just be obedient and never question anything. And if you do, you have the threat of them essentially killing your family, really, and it's like that. Essentially, that explains
and also obviously
a lot.
you end up in the street because you'll be unemployable.
You'll be unemployed. You've got no qualifications. So these people, the wealthy folk that have you under their control, they really do have you by the balls, because if you step out of line, they've got your family to go and mess around with or potentially kill. If they fire you, you're just gonna be on the streets with nothing to your name.
I've heard about the system called almost like gangster caste, because at one point it explains how his boss that he gets hired to, he's got connections, he's got a network, he's got connections with all the landlords in the countryside where his village is, and they will know immediately if he does anything, or they will know about his whereabouts, they will know about all of his family, not just himself. So it's almost like a network of landlords and people to keep control of the poorer villages and the people in it.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating to see that, so that this exists.
Yeah,
in
that
today's world.
yeah, just yeah. I know. I was going to say, and to a Westerner's eyes, it would seem like, oh, why won't you just leave the village, or why won't you just get out of this system, or make move your family?
Yeah,
but as the film shows, it's not as simple as that, because India,
not even close.
India is described in the film twice or three times as the world's biggest democracy, but it's anything but that. It's anything but that. It still hasn't got electricity in every area. It still hasn't got running water, sewage, and yet they've got cell phones. It's just like they're going the wrong way. And in the film, there's this woman who's called the Great Socialist, and they all seem to be gunning for her in the film, because she's a bit more
what a character indeed.
Especially for a strong female figure in a film. But yeah, even she though is being bribed by the rich family in the film. So it's like even the number one spearhead, this Gandhi-like woman who's representing the people of India, which is like 1 billion. Even she's corrupt. But I feel like in the film it explains that if you get to the top in India, you've got to have politics or crime.
All the time.
Yeah, she gets elected all the time. So even she's in the system of corruption, but you have to be. Like, you can't be honest in India and get to the top. And that's why so many people are at the bottom, because what the gentleman explains in the film is most of these Indian people, they are honest, humble people. And that seems to be exploited by the few bad ones that just would use anything in terms of power to get control of these people. It's just sad.
It's really good. It's really good. So if it was for a scene that you really liked, summed up the film, the spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So which one was yours?
I'll ask you the same question in a minute, but for myself, I would say Bahram has to realise halfway through the film that he's better than just being a slave all his life, a servant all his life. And because of this realisation, he ends up deciding to plot to murder his master. And the actual scene where that happens, outside in the rain, when they're trying to fix the car, and it's just him and his master, and he uses a broken bottle, actually, and you don't see anything too gruesome, but there's a sense of relief, I think, from the audience and myself anyway, when he actually kills him. Like, I've never seen a death on camera so much that I didn't feel anything for, in a way that this guy's had it come in, man. And it's like
a catharsis, almost like a relief.
It is, yeah. Catharsis is a great word to use, man. He's breaking the chains. And then when he's driving away, he leaves his body just lying in the street, and he's driving away. He's got his money in the back because he was going to do a bribery deal. His boss, his master, was going to do. So he's got a bit of money to his name. He's broken through from the chains, and he's just screaming at the wheel because of what he's just done. Because he's not a murderer at the end of the day. He's just a man that's realised his worth. So that was for me. What about yourself, Alex?
So there's a scene, I think right about in the middle of the film, where so basically the rich family that he was driving, he was a driver to, they drove one night when they were having a party and coming back from a party, and they hit a child, and they murdered a child on the street.
Yeah.
And the driver, Balram, later on is used by his family to be the culprit for it, and he has to sign a declaration. So
they've written it up, haven't they?
It's written for him, and then he just needs to sign it. So they get him inside the living room, and they sit down, and everybody from the rich family is there, and they read it to him, and on his face he slowly realizes what's happening, that he has to do this, and they're using him to be instead of the son that hit the child. And he still smiles. It's so well acted, but he still smiles. But at the same time, in his eyes, you can see the betrayal of the family. So all his loyalty, everything that he's worked so hard for to get there, just is shattered in one moment.
Yeah.
Saying that,
and you can see it, man.
You're nothing to us, basically, to the family. That's what he's told.
And yet he still manages to be polite and obedient, even though his whole life is crumbling, man. You can see it in his eyes, and he still manages to be polite and humble. And
do what he's told. Yeah. And then at the end of the scene, they go, "Okay, go outside because we'll call you when you're ready." Just like a dog, just go. It's just crushing. Yeah. So it's The White Tiger on Netflix. Very good film. I hope I see it in the awards seasons this year, but we'll see.
It should be, man. It really impressed me, this film. Genuinely, really impressed me. Yeah.
Cool. Talk to you next week, sir.
Take care, Alex. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.